Hello, Boro fans. A.J.T here, back again for episode 2 of Tuesday's transfers, roundup and rumours. Episode 2 I've already said, but I say, man, let's get straight into it. Been a lot happening inside the world of transfers, not only Boro, but also worldwide. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Obviously, let's get into Boro ones first, and then let's go into world transfers. In terms of Boro, there isn't much happening, obviously, but I will get into pretty much our main stories to what is happening in and around Middlesbrough. So the first one comes from James Collins. Now a lot of people know James Collins, nicknamed the Ginger Pele at West Ham. Well, the Ginger Pele has just been released by West Ham. He did get released via email, however you want to put it. But I say West Ham did release him. He has gathered a bit of interest from Rangers as well, but Steven Gerrard's come out and said that he's not actually part of his plans. He's got no interest in trying to bring James Collins to Rangers, which is why I think Tony Pulis is going to try and maybe make a move for obviously James Collins. At the minute, there's been no transfer in terms of price. Like I say, I'm guessing it'd be a free transfer anyway with him obviously having no club at the minute. But like I say, until anything further happens, nothing's happening at the minute. All I know is that Boro are interested in James Collins, and that's about that. The next one comes down as John Walters. Now, John Walters made 5 appearances for Burnley season and still managed to get in the Republic of Ireland team. I say it looks like he will be going to we're going with Republic of Ireland to where I'd say will be starting their first couple of games, then obviously going after the World Cup. And I say he says he has no issues by dropping down to the Championship. As we all know, he obviously plays with Burnley, who finished 7th in the Premier League. They obviously had an outstanding season with James. I should say John Walters wasn't really included in any sort of games or anything, wasn't really needed or asked upon. So it looks like Sean Dyche is willing to let him go. And I say John Walters come out and said already he has absolutely no worries about dropping down to the Championship side. In that case, obviously with him spending some time with Tony Pulis at Stoke, Tony Pulis obviously heard this news. He's obviously interested in him. Now, John Walters, I would take him. Middlesbrough, I'll be honest with you, I would take him. He's 34 now, so he's getting on. But like I say, if Boro can get a few decent sort of season or seasons out of John Walters, why not take him? I doubt it would cost us very much. I doubt it would cost anywhere near 10 million, probably around £5-6 million is how much probably to pay for John Walters, including his wages a week. But I say, obviously, Tony Pulis is a big fan of him. He says that he gives it all at Stoke City when he was there together. So I say, I'm sure more will come on that story. But as for right now, all we can say is that John Walters is willing to come down to the Championship side if the Championship side is interested, pretty much indicating that Middlesbrough. Yeah, I think John Walters basically trying to say that. I'm sure that he wouldn't mind coming to Middlesbrough, indicating that he wouldn't mind coming down to a Championship side. The next one comes from a player who is very, very close to many Boro's players' hearts. I like this guy a lot. He's got a lot of speed, but he could be going to a team that nobody really likes from Middlesbrough, and that's Newcastle United. Now, Aden Traoré could be set to join Newcastle United for around £15 million, there or thereabouts. To me, £15 million to sell to, let's have it right, a rival, even though the class is not as a rival, let's be honest, it is a rival, it is another North East team. If you're going to sell him for as little as £15 million, I think it's a joke. I think Boro definitely need to try and up the price. I do think he's worth more than £15 million. We are seeing as well that Ben Gibson's worth around 25. So if he's worth more than Aden Traoré, let's have it right. I mean, surely both of them are worth around that money. I wouldn't say that one's worth more than the other. But I say, could the Spanish team between him and Benitez work? Could that maybe lure him into a move to Newcastle United? Who knows? But what we do know is that Newcastle are a Premier League side as well, and obviously the manager is Spanish. So at the minute, everything on Traoré's side looks good because obviously Traoré wants to play Premier League football, and also the manager is Spanish. So that might lure him into a move, but I say over the next couple of days or weeks, Boro fans and Boro themselves will know exactly whereabouts he's at. And like I say, the last one comes from another Championship team. Boro are actually interested in trying to sign Aden Flint. Now, Aden Flint is a player that many Boro fans like. Or should I say many Championship teams, I'm sure fans like him as well. But he's very unsettled. He's not very happy at Bristol City at the minute. And it looks like he's looking for a move away. He's club captain as well of Bristol City. For them to lose their captain, I'm sure that would hurt them a lot. But Boro are looking to maybe he's bid around the likes of around £6 to £8 million. For me, I would say if Ben Gibson does go and we bring in Aden Flint, I don't think it'd be a bad replacement. I think in the Championship, I think he's a fantastic defender. So yeah, I would happily bring him in. And that's it really for the Middlesbrough sort of stuff. We go into the more sort of world news now. We've seen that DC United from the MLS are obviously interested in signing Wayne Rooney. It will be their most expensive player to ever sign for DC United, and obviously what a signing it would be. I'm sure it would attract many locals to go and watch some more of the MLS team, obviously being DC United. Now, last week, midpoint, obviously, I should say midpoint around Wednesday or Thursday, Rooney actually arrived in Washington, ready to go talk to DC United. He's going to have some talks, and apparently had a reported medical. Now, there is no further news on that, and no fee has been agreed with Everton just yet. But I'm sure within the next sort of week or so, we'll know exactly where Rooney's at. I say he's coming towards the end of his career now, so I think a move to America wouldn't be a bad thing. And like I say, I'm sure it'll attract many more fans to go watch the MLS, especially if Wayne Rooney is there. The next one comes from Manchester United, and they're looking to spend big again on midfielders, as we all know. Obviously last summer they spent big. Obviously, they spent big on Paul Pogba. But like I say, man, they're going back to the Serie A again, and they're looking to buy a Serbian called Savic from Lazio. Apparently, he's done really, really well this season, and apparently said the Serie A are light, especially in midfield. That's like I said, £96 million. They're about to what Manchester United are willing to buy, and obviously, I should say Manchester United are willing to pay for this guy. And that's all the news we have at the minute, is that they apparently are reporting to pay around £96 million for this midfielder. And hopefully it's good for them, because like I say, £96 million is an awful amount of money for a midfielder. So let's see how he works out. Moving to a different club in the Serie A, and that's AC Milan. The goalkeeper, I'm going to try and pronounce it now, Gianluigi Donnarumma, if that's how you pronounce it, is thought to be a likely target for Liverpool, but we don't know if Liverpool are going to go along with their almost along with the bid. AC Milan are looking for anything from like £50 million upwards for the 19-year-old goalkeeper, but also on their targets as well. So say if they're unsuccessful with that, so much like goalkeeper, they're going to look at the likes of Jan Oblak, from when I can speak, and they're going to look at John Oblak from Atletico Madrid. And they're also looking at a guy called Alisson as well. So I say it looks like they're more looking towards the likes of John Oblak and Alisson, as them two are on both of them two goalkeepers are sort of more in line to come to Liverpool than what Donnarumma is. So like I say, man, a lot of confusing names in there, very, very hard to pronounce. But I hope I did it all right. Next one is Manchester City, and they are looking to buy Leicester's Riyad Mahrez for around £75 million. How is the guy worth £75 million? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I don't think he's worth around £75 million. But Manchester City wanted to buy him in January, but Leicester would not sell in January. They pretty much refused to buy. They pretty much refused to sell him in January. So now they're looking to bid him. Well, like I say, they are bidding around £75 million for Riyad Mahrez, which is a lot of money. I say, man, over the next couple of days again, despite all these transfers, we will know exactly what's going on with them. Coming towards the end now, but just before we do, we're going straight to Manchester United again, and they're willing to pay out £80 million for Bayern Munich's Douglas Costa. Now, as we all know, Douglas Costa obviously played last season on loan to Juventus. He didn't have a bad season, but now he's gone back to his parent club, being Bayern Munich. And like I say, we're willing to pay out £80 million, and if he came to England, I say, man, for me personally, obviously, my team being in the Championship, to look at the likes of Douglas Costa coming to the Premier League could be a great league to watch him in, because man, I am a big fan of Douglas Costa. Will he have to come to Middlesbrough? We do not know these things, but as far as we know, Douglas Costa could be on his way to Manchester United for around £80 million, which is a lot of money again, but I think it's well worth it for Douglas Costa. What a great talent he is. The next one comes in from a transfer already completed. Liverpool last night signed the player from AS Monaco, the midfielder Fabinho, for around £43.7 million, including the add-ons. Fantastic signing of them. I say, man, he will join Liverpool on July the 1st. But yeah, that is completed. Liverpool have signed AS Monaco midfielder Fabinho for around £43.7 million. The last one comes from Tottenham boss Mauricio Pochettino, and he's requested from the club £100 million. Now, that might sound like a lot of money, but he's wanted to bring in the likes of Wilfried Zaha, Ryan Sessegnon, and Anthony Martial. Three fantastic players there. And will he get them? Who knows? But obviously, Ryan Sessegnon, I think he will. I think he will have to move away, obviously, for big money. As we all know, he's only 18 years old. He comes in with a lot of ability. Like I say, he's a fantastic player. So yeah, like I say, all these transfers, we will get to know them all over the next couple of days. But yeah, guys, take care. This has been episode 2, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Up the butter.